1833, and the Sierra rose before them, a wall of granite pushing into a sky turned white. Walker looked at the range, and he looked at his men behind him, and he turned his horse west, and he rode into the height. No map existed for the country they were entering. No man who had crossed it had come back to say the way. Just 40 men on horses in a wilderness of snowfields, trading everything they knew for the end of the next day. West beyond the mountains, where the water runs to the other side. West beyond the mountains, where no American boot had left a mark to find. The cold came in like a country of its own making. The horses went down and the men went lean and gray. West beyond the mountains, Walker never said a word, and he never stopped the way. They ate what the horses couldn't carry any further. They wrapped their hands in hide, and they kept the rifles clean. The altitude took men at the edges of the column, the kind of cold that settles in the places in between. 8 days in the high country before the first descent. 8 days of granite silence and the wind across the stone. A man stopped talking somewhere in the second week of crossing, not from despair but from a country too large for words alone. West beyond the mountains, where the water runs to the other side. West beyond the mountains, where no American boot had left a mark to find. The cold came in like a country of its own making. The horses went down and the men went lean and gray. West beyond the mountains, Walker never said a word, and he never stopped the way. Then the valley opened under them without a warning. The granite walls dropped away and the world fell wide. A valley so enormous that the men pulled up their horses and stood there in the stirrups, and nobody cried. Waterfalls coming off the cliffs like white rivers of nothing. Half a mile of open air between the water and the ground. The horses stood still in the thin light of that morning, and 40 mountain men made not a single sound. Walker wrote it down in plain words in his journal. Nothing poetic, nothing more than what he saw. Just the bearing and the distance and the depth of the valley, the way a practical man records an act of God. The Miwok people had been living in that valley since the time no trapper's calendar could reach. Walker noted their existence, turned his horse toward the Pacific, and left Yosemite to the silence and the beach. mountains, where the water runs the other way to sea. West beyond the mountains, where the walls of granite held a world no white man seen. The road that Walker opened would fill up behind him, with the weight of every wagon rolling west. West beyond the mountains, the mountains let them through and close behind the rest.